My channel has been dead, and I seriously mean it. And about a month ago, I woke up thinking to myself, I kinda know game developing, and it is Halloween. Why don't I make a horror game? This was one of my longest projects ever. So for the movements, I've been inspired by this channel. And in the start, I didn't know what game I was supposed to create, because I was feeling to create a game, but I didn't know what kind of game. So I went to one of these Wheel of Spin websites, and I put the genre and the mechanics, which I choose a lot of them. But then suddenly something like kicked in. I thought I'd make a parkour horror game, and the game just kept like changing for me. So I thought I'd make a game about schizophrenia. I went to make a game about whatever that is, but I thought first let's get the movements done. So I reached ChatGPT about it, and he started yapping. Bippity boppity. Your code is my property. We still miss you, by the way, Danny. Next, I worked on simple movement, which then turned out to be buggy and trippy, but then I fixed it. Next, I made it so we have stamina, and when we run, there's a kind of trail that follows us behind. And I made some advanced jumping, and I added post-processing, which made the quality way better, as you guys can see. And I made it so when we jump and we fall down, there's a kind of squash effect that we can see. And here is the final product. Now, I had this model which I AI generated with my own image, which I rigged, but it didn't turn out good, so I used Mixamo instead. And the internet speed was not helping. So I spent hours making my new player, which looked like this. And I didn't like it too much, but I just went with it. Next, I made an eye animation for the death or the intro of every level, which I don't want to glaze myself, but come on guys, this looks insane. Then some sound effects, and after working on the main menu for a bit, this is what it looks like. Next, I started working on the first level, which is tutorial. So we have an empty game object, which is called the game controller, which has the tutorial script. Now, this game object basically writes a text saying if we press S, for example, it moves backward, and if the player presses S, it will write another text, and it will all go until the movement is done, and after that, a door will open, and if the player goes into the door, the screen will fade black. Now for the second level, which is the main game where it starts, I have way too many ideas. For example, I made this train which you are supposed to walk in while a monster is chasing you, and you have to find a chest to get it. But of course, for some random reason, I didn't like the train, and I kept making trains until I just gave up and went for another idea. Like this one, which is the fear of being in small or tight places, which I didn't like because it was too simple. You're just supposed to run in a hallway, that's it. Next, I made this train, which just looked stupid. Or this other level where you're just scared of mirrors. That's it. Until I finally got the idea of making a level about being scared of being home alone. So I imported my house model from another project of mine, and it looked like shit. So I gave it some good old lighting, which made it look a little bit better. Later on, I gave it some effects, which make it look 100 times better. Don't worry about that, by the way. So for the game mechanics, I made it so that there's a game object that has a trigger collider, and whenever the player enters that trigger collider, basically some stuff happened, which I gave it a script using ChatGPT, because I don't know how to script or code. So this game object eventually does some things that include playing sounds, playing animations, disable or enabling objects for a duration, writing text, or even change the color of the scene. I also used CapCut to make this short audio that sounds like sense when you repeat it over. And now when I put it all together, we get a scene that looks something like this. And I also improved the quality by changing the game to URP. And now, because we know how important this script is, we're just gonna color this game object yellow for now. Now we need a game object so that we can interact with other objects using a specific button. For example, we have this light fusing over here. Let's just say the lights went out and we want to turn it on. We want a trigger, so if we enter the trigger and press E, then the light objects are going to enable. To make it more simple for you guys, I made another paint project, and in that one I explain how it works. So just like take a look at a video. And here's how it looks in the game eventually. And the last important element of all of the 3 elements we need in this project are the colliders. These colliders are basically transparent objects which keep you away from getting outside of the map. So for example, if you're supposed to go to the bathroom and you're not supposed to go to another place in that level, the colliders will not let you go into the other part of the room. So day by day, night by night, I spent lots of time putting these elements together just to finally create my game. It did take about 3 weeks to fully make my game. I kept making my game, go to playing Call of Duty, make my game, play Call of Duty. I did some things in the middle of the way, like adding footstep sounds. And at the end of the level, I added a slender model which basically jump scares you, and the scene changes. Here's how the game goes like. Drop your suggestions for the next level, because I'm going to make another video turning the 3 top comments into a level for this game. That is basically it. Thanks for watching and goodbye.